Hello, I'm Danny the Guide, and are you ready for today's London snippet of history? Today we are going to step inside Westminster Abbey that sits at the heart of the Westminster area. It sits on an old Benedictine monastery that dates back to 960 AD. During Elizabeth I's reign in 1560, she declared that the abbey would now serve the monarch directly, and that at its head to see the day-to-day running of everything and its administration would be a dean rather than the usual bishop. This type of church is known as a royal peculiar. But today I want to take a step inside and talk to you about the Coronation Chair. In Westminster Abbey, coronations have taken place since the year 1066, when William, the Duke of Normandy, had invaded England and successfully took over and had himself crowned on December 25th, 1066. But Westminster Abbey wasn't the designated place for coronations until building work undertaken by King Henry III in 1245. He built a grand, purpose-built theatrical space for such an auspicious occasion as crowning the next king or queen of the country. Therefore, since then, 38 coronations have taken place in Westminster Abbey, but only 26 in the specific coronation chair that is usually placed in front of the high altar during the actual service. Kings like Henry VIII, queens like Elizabeth I and Mary I were crowned in the chair. But the first coronation to have been known to use the chair was in 1308, and this was King Edward II. But it is his father, Edward I, who had the chair commissioned. You see, Edward I was known for conquering Wales, but also for trying to conquer Scotland. He was known as the Hammer of the Scots, and on several campaigns headed to try and subjugate the Scottish. He was ultimately unsuccessful, but in the process, he had taken their coronation stone, known as the Stone of Scone or the Stone of Destiny. And in 1296, he brought it back to England and commissioned this chair to enclose the stone within it. This way he ensured that every future monarch of England was not only crowned as an English king, but technically also crowned a Scottish king. Looking at the chair, it is way more subdued than it would have been in 1300 when it was being decorated by the court painter Master Nelta. He decorated the chair with foliage, patterns of birds and animals on a gilded background. There would have been a figure of a king painted on the back, either of King Edward I himself, who commissioned the chair, or of St Edward the Confessor. Now, St Edward the Confessor was a king. He was King of England from 1042 to 1066 and enlarged the original Benedictine monastery, and is also the only English king to have been canonized, been made a saint. His shrine is behind the high altar in Westminster Abbey, to which the coronation chair faces in the coronation service, and is the spiritual heart of Westminster Abbey from which everything gravitates towards. As you can see, most of the decoration is gone because of the course of the 700 years. The chair has been climbed on, painted over, etched into by the schoolboys of Westminster School and the Westminster Choir School, and also visitors in the 18th and 19th century would have graffitied it too. It now sits safely in the St George's Chapel, waiting for the next monarch's coronation. But underneath the seat,
and above the lions' heads, can you see the empty space?
That space is where the stone of Scone was enclosed in 1300. And because England and Scotland were separate kingdoms until 1707, when they unified on equal terms under the reign of Queen Anne, the stone of Scone has always been a sore subject. And 4 Scottish national students from the University of Glasgow took it upon themselves to get it back. And they broke into Westminster Abbey on December 25th, 1950, where they broke a bit of the chair, took back the stone, and it was later recovered in April 1951, returned to the Abbey, where it was put in a vault until the coronation service of Queen Elizabeth II on the 2nd of June 1953, where it was put back in place. But 1996, a collective decision was made in the government that it was time to return the Scottish coronation stone to Scotland, and today it can be seen safely guarded in Edinburgh Castle. And we hope that it will be returned for the next coronation, whomever it may be. So you see, it may only be a snippet, but I hope it has intrigued you to find out more. Come to London and explore. I'm Danny the Guide. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.